We're live. And we're live.
Okay, cool. Hey, guys, what's going on? It's me, Corey Garrison, Presidential Diamond, here with Everest Global. I'm joined by my buddy Rob. I'm also joined by our guest this month. We got Mario on the line. And tonight we're going to kick off the It Works Man Show. So I'll go ahead and just kick it off with you guys, right? So tonight's theme, fellas, is going to be about owning your own time, okay? And what exactly does that mean? There seems to be a term that gets thrown out there a lot, like own your own time, you know? And, you know, to some it might sound really great, and others will say, okay, I'm not sure how to get it, but if I got it, it sounds cool. So tonight we want to give you what that means, you know, what it means to us, because it looks very different. You know, it's not like a one-size-fits-all. It looks very different to a bunch of others. So just speaking about it, you know, Rob and I were just talking about the fact that my wife and I, Patrice, are starting to plan a vacation that's coming up. And that is huge because when I worked a 9 to 5, I would have to go get permission from someone to take time off, then, you know, go ahead and execute my vacation. But by me owning my own time, I don't have to check in with anybody. You know, there's no one that can tell me, yes, you can go to this function. Yes, you can go see your family. Yes, you can have off for a birthday. Yes, you can have off for a holiday. I don't have to encounter that anymore. Okay? And that is the most important thing to me. The money portion of it is great, and by all means. You know, Zig Ziglar said, you know, money isn't everything, but it ranks up there with air. You know, so money is very important, but owning your own time, to me, is the most paramount thing that you can have, because time is our most valuable resource. It's the one thing we don't get more of. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get more time. You can't just say, okay, you know what, like, I just want to rewind today a little bit and start over again. You can't do that. You know, it's constantly running out. It's like that little, what do you call those things where the sand's running down? The little, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Hourglass.
It's like one of those things. Hourglass,
yep.
Exactly, the hourglass, right? You don't flip the hourglass back over, right? Once your life starts, that hourglass is running down. And you only have a specific amount of time. So you might as well own that time to do what you want to do, to live a full life, to, you know, experience what you want to experience. So that's really the theme, and the construct of the call tonight is just kind of drilling that point home. So today you're going to hear from two gentlemen that own their own time. And you're going to hear how they did that. You're going to hear, more importantly, why they did that. And you're going to hear, most importantly, what that means to them and to their families. Because chances are, if you're on this call, you're a family man. You have a family. You have a wife. You have kids, maybe. You know? So they need your time. They need you present. They don't need you going and committing 40 hours a week to build another man's dream. There's nothing wrong with working. I'm not going to sit here and get on this phone call and say, you should quit your job tomorrow. You shouldn't do that. But here's an opportunity to start a business. Here's an opportunity to work a business. And by doing that, you're going to be able to provide financially for your family, but you're also going to put yourself in a position to own your own time. Think about it. If you worked a business and made an extra $300 a month, that could be enough money for you to quit your part-time job if you have one. Quitting your part-time job gives you your time back. You still retain the same amount of income, but you get that time back. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, fellas. So I'm going to kick it off to my buddy Rob. And Rob, go ahead and lead us into the narrative.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, I love what you said right there, because it's like time can be considered a currency, but let me tell you something about this currency. Once you spend it, you don't get it back. We can't get those moments back. If you have a small child and they start walking, you won't get those moments back if you missed it, because you had to give away your time for money. You had to trade your time for money. And, you know, if you have a job, you should be using it as a means to invest in yourself, invest in something that is your dream, something for your family, for a legacy to live on. You know, we're not telling, like he said, we're not telling you to quit your job, but where are you going to stop depending on that paycheck and use that paycheck as a means to maneuver? You know, and you know, with It Works, you know, you're talking $99. You know, we took that $99 and built legacies for our family. What have you spent $99 on? Just sit and think about that for a minute. Now, take that 99 and invest it in something that will build a legacy for your family. That's what we're trying to show you guys the vision of. And, you know, my buddy we have on the call tonight, Mario Lewis. How you doing, Mario?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Oh, man, you know, just living the dream, man, just like yourself, man. Mario took that investment, and today, him and his wife, they built their dream home. You know, I've seen, you know, I haven't got a chance to get by there yet, but I'm definitely coming to check that place out sooner or later. And, I mean, man, you know, but you didn't always own your time. So let's go back to a time, you know, rewind back. And, you know, how did it work to find y'all?
Well, it worked found us. It found my wife, actually, in 2011 when I was in the military. And I was just about to go to Iraq. And my wife saw a picture on Facebook about this. One of her friends won a rap, and she showed the results on Facebook. So my wife was like, hey, how did you get those results? What are you eating? How are you working out? What's going on? And she said, I won this rap from this girl. And my wife said, I can't believe that. Let me get more information about that. So she contacted the girl on Facebook, didn't know her or anything, and it turned out to be Samantha Keelan. And she was telling Tracy, like, hey, you should join this business. Like, this going to be huge. You need to do this. So my wife was like, I don't know. We'll see. We don't have the money. We don't have the $99. So she was like, hey, this $99 is going to change your guy's life. So you need to get it somewhere. You need to get on board. So fast forward, my wife, we got the money together. And when I left for Iraq, you know, we were still struggling. Typical military family, living check to check. And within 6 months, she was double diamond. And I was able to get out of the Army just like that. Like, she worked her butt off, and we sacrificed, but it paid off. It was well worth it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with serving your country. If you serve your country, that's great. But, you know, a wise man always told me, always work on plan B, just in case plan A falls through. You know,
absolutely.
So that's what you guys did, right?
Like you were saying earlier about on your own time. Like, I had no time when I was in the military. Like, I almost had to go AWOL just to go get married.
Wow.
Like it was crazy. Like, there's no time in the military. So it was a blessing for us to get out of the military. Like, I love, like, serving the country and everything, but it's a blessing what we're doing now.
Right, changing lives. And, Corey, I'm sure you come across a lot of lives you guys are changing now that you have your time back and can help other people, correct?
Yeah, man. You know, this business, man, like, you know, it's the first thing in it should be, you know, changing lives. Like, that should be like the tagline, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, what do you do? You know, I don't just sell raps, I change lives, you know what I mean? Whether it's, you know, time, which is what we're talking about, or, you know, it's better health or better wealth. But, you know, specifically, let me kind of give you guys some examples of, you know, just some things that I've come across, you know. So I've been on my journey for 2.5 years or so now. It's coming up on 3 years for my wife. So, you know, we're collectively about 3 years in. Prior to this business, my wife was working 2 jobs. You know, so she would leave the house at 7 in the morning. She wouldn't get back home till after 10 at night. You know, she would have to take naps in her car in between her shifts at her 2 jobs. You know, this business allowed for her to quit that second job, right, which gave her that time back, gave her that extra 4 hours back in her day. You know, and that instead of, you know, driving out 30 miles from where we lived at to go do a 4-hour shift and then driving back home 4 hours later, she was able to sit on the couch and have rap appointments and do rap parties on the weekend. So that was an example of getting that time back. As far as myself, you know, I worked before I retired from my job, I worked from home, but what that really is code word, that's really a code word for, you know, yeah, you work way more than 40 hours, you know, because you work from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. But by me being able to own my own time, you know, we've been able to go on trips. the marriage thing was a huge thing, man. Like Mario just mentioned, like he almost had to go during their AWOL just to get married. You know, when I got married, we had a destination wedding. Like I would have used all of my leave, you know, just to get married. And then what else would I have done? What if something came up? You know, what if, you know, anything, you know? So I just kind of get back to that hourglass, man. Like it kind of keeps ticking. You got to be able to get those little grains of sand back and hold on to those and keep those and do something that you love with it rather than something that you just have to do just to survive. You know, we've been able to help a handful of people come home from work. You know, we've been able to help people be able to, you know, be with their child. I had a girl, a Diamond on my team, that she was able to take her daughter to first day of pre-K just started. And she didn't have to leave when all the other parents left. She got to stay there and hang out with her daughters on the first day of pre-K. You know, and Rob, you mentioned that because I know you got kids, man. You don't get that time back. You know, as your boys get older, you don't get to go back to a time when they did this. You know what I mean? You're always looking forward to, you know, what their next steps are getting ready to be, but you can't go back to those times. You know, so like I was talking to the girl this early this morning, and she was just telling me how excited she was. You know, she was just telling me like, you know, that she cried in the car, you know, after she first, you know, dropped her off of there, but she didn't have to leave. She had to stay there. You know, she went, you know, got her emotions out in the car, cried in the car, and she came back. You know, but if she had a regular job, she would have been crying on the way to work that morning. You know, and she would have been at work, you know, bawling her eyes out, you know, because this was a really big emotional thing for her. This is the first time that her daughter's been away from her for an extended period of time. You know, this is something new. So that's the power of getting your time back. That's what this business can do. You know, so that's just an example, man. It's funny you mention that because like that literally just came up today.
Right, absolutely. And you know, I mean, as a man, if you're sitting here listening to this call, whether you have children, whether you don't, whether you're, you know, in your mid-40s or early 20s, I don't know a man alive who doesn't want to own his own time. Now, you may not know how to go about that, but that's what we're helping you with. It works, takes the guesswork out of it. It works, shows you the how. All you have to do is do it. But I don't know a man alive who doesn't want to wake up, be on his own time, go where he wants, when he wants, travel whenever, you know, if he does have children, be there with his kids. You know, I don't know a man alive who wouldn't want that in their life. You know, we're telling you to start a plan B. You know, it took time for us to get where we are. Everything is a process, but you got to start in small steps now. You know, if you want to become more, you have to help others become more. If you want more out of life, then you have to break this redundant cycle of wake up, go clock in, do it all over again tomorrow, chasing a paycheck every month. It's fine to take care of your family, but wouldn't you rather take care of your family and be there at the same time? Mario, describe to us what your days are like now.
Man, my days are like I have no plans. Like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I try to go to the gym. I go to the gym actually in the morning time, and the other 2 days, Tuesday and Thursday, I take the kids to school. Like I don't have to get up and I don't have to set my alarm to go to work and be at work all day and miss out on stuff. I had the freedom to get up when I want, do what I want, and that's typical day for me.
Absolutely, man. How did it feel to build your dream home, man? Like, you know, coming from where you come from, how did it feel to just build a home?
I can't even describe the feeling. Like coming up, I always thought like we were gonna be in apartments the rest of our life. Like there's nothing wrong with living in apartments, but I just thought that was always gonna be our lives, no matter what I did. Like even when we first started, it works. I just felt like we were gonna be in apartments all our lives, but like it started getting bigger and bigger, and we started dreaming, and once we started building the house, it was just incredible. Like the first feeling when we signed the papers, when we closed, that was just the most amazing feeling in the world. And I wish that upon everybody.
Absolutely, man. Corey?
Man, it's funny It's funny you said that, Mario, right? Like you mentioned Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's like I'm on the same gym schedule. And it's crazy because like, you know, I'm 28, right? So, you know, as I was younger and I was in school, you know, like, you know, you just get to play and have fun, and then all of a sudden you have this thing called bills, and then you have to get a job, and, you know, you trade being active for getting a paycheck, right? And the one thing that I made a promise to myself, because I left my job in January, right? And I told myself, I said, hey, if I'm going to leave my job in January, there's no more excuses why I'm not going to be active physically, right? Because, you know, some of my close friends and family members, you know, the ones that are a little bit older than me, they'll tell me, Corey, take care of yourself now. If you take care of yourself now, you won't have some of these same problems you'll have as you get older, right? So people are telling me this. And you know, to keep within the theme, I didn't have the time to work out. I didn't have the time to get exercise. I didn't have the time to be active because I was too busy trying to get a paycheck, right? I was too occupied with that. So, you know, when I left in January, I joined a gym, and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday since January, I've been in the gym, you know, and it's awesome because, you know, I'm physically working on myself. I'm also mentally working on myself. Like, it's awesome to be able to, you know, beat your best bench press or, you know, whatever the case is. You know, like that feels good. You know, but I'm also taking the time to care for myself because, you know, hey, I don't have kids, but I have a wife. You know, so I got to make sure I'm in tip-top shape because we're in this for the long haul. You know what I mean? There's no, you know, this is like a cross-country drive. You know, this ain't like we getting off the next exit. Like we going on just a little bit time now. So, you know, I got to make sure that, you know, I'm healthy. I'm feeling good. So, you know, having my own time back allows for me to do that. Let's see, what else? I had something else, but like when they came up, I was like, oh man, like I feel you, man. Like that's exactly like I'm going through the same thing. So I just got excited about that one, man. So I'm gonna pass it back to you, Rob. I don't forgot what I was gonna say next.
Okay, no problem. I mean, you know, the person who invited you on this call, they really care, you know, about you, and they want to show you a broader horizon of things. You know, never in a million years did I think I'd be living how we do and have the freedom that we do, and even living in the neighborhood that we do. You know, I was a contractor, and the gentleman I used to work under, he used to give me all the work. I mean, backbreaking work. I had to run around like crazy and make all these runs and different things like that. And you know what he would do? He would go and have lunch with his wife. He would go maybe catch a movie with her. And I'm just looking like I'd love to be able to do stuff like that in the middle of the day. You know, it's like, but man, I'm stuck here with all the work. And he's just, you know, living free. You know, and to be able to fast forward and live my life like that, it's possible for anyone. But you have to make up your mind to do it. Don't expect the people who maybe raised you or the people you're around to embrace this right away or to understand it right away. God might not have given them the vision. He might have given it to you. Maybe when you get off this call, your eyes are open. The vision is given to you. And sometimes it's a lonely path to start in the beginning, but it's worth it because everybody who doubted us is saying, I wish I would have been listening in the beginning when you told me. Tell me a little more now. Because, see, your lifestyle begins to show. You don't have to say much. Your lifestyle can speak for itself. Mario's living in Florida, living the dream. You know, what's the weather like down there, man?
Beautiful. It's like 90 every day.
Absolutely. So, you know, how do you think even just having the freedom that you do now helped, you know, you and your wife's relationship, just how you guys interact now that you're both just free?
There's no pressure on us anymore. Like we run each other a lot more, but there's no pressure for us to like bills or anything like that. We had the freedom to be relaxed, and that's very important and that's very key. Like this business did all of that.
You know, there's a study that says, you know, the main reason most couples separate or have problems is because of finances. There's a study out there. You can look it up. You can look it up. I was studying this thing where they were interviewing elderly people, well into their 90s, and they asked them. They said, if there's one thing you could tell the younger people out there, what piece of advice would you give them? And the main thing, these were separate people. They didn't know each other. They never heard each other's answer. But a good bit of the people said, live your life, follow your dreams. I look back on my life, and one thing I did was I worked too much. I worked so much, I never had time for anything else, not even to enjoy my life. Those bit of vacation days you get don't add up to, freedom, just living your life free. When you agree, Corey?
Yeah, man. Like, I think the video, right? Was a video you watched?
I think it was, yeah.
Okay, because I watched the same thing, man, and it was crazy to hear these folks, and it's something one of my favorite speakers, my favorite mentor is Jim Rohn, and one of the things that he says is, have a good life, and how do you live a good life is by not missing anything, not missing the events. Go to all of that stuff, experience it, have a full life that you live. And when I was listening to that video, like, I just kept hearing that part of his speech replaying over and over and over in my head, because I was listening to people that are, 3 and 4 times my age, that have wisdom, and that's what they were telling me. And I'm just like, I feel you. Like, I get it, man, because you don't get that stuff back. You don't want to get to that. You don't want to be in your moonlight years of your life and looking back and saying, man, I wish I would have this. I wish I would have that. So I definitely agree with you, man. It's funny because I saw that same clip too, man. That's the response that I got out of it, man. So like I'm on a mission, dude. Like I'm on a mission to help people. You know what I mean? To help, men, to help women. I'm on a mission to help people to experience that. Like we're like freedom fighters, man. Like, we're like time bandits, like we're helping to give people what we have, So it's crazy, man. Like this is exciting, man. I get excited to do this. I get charged up to do this. I get energy from doing this.
Right. And you know what it's doing in the long run? It's also affecting your health in a positive way. They say most heart attacks happen between 8 and 9 o'clock a.m. on Monday morning. And think about why that is. Anxiety. Thinking about, how am I going to make it till Friday? That's all everybody can think about. Sunday, your Sunday evening is pretty much ruined because you're thinking about what you may have to do when you go in Monday. I had a friend of mine, she's also in it works. She said she used to be a Verizon rep. She said I would get very bad anxiety on Sunday nights because I was so afraid to go on Monday and have people cursing me out about their cell phone bill. So she said I would get high anxiety, which started to affect my health in a negative way because I was always, just under the pressure going back that Monday morning. Another friend of mine who joined It Works and, was doing really well said she could never take her kids to the doctors because she was always working. She had to depend on her mom or her husband, who had more leeway and pull to get off or, break away. And when few months in, when she was able to break away from her job because of It Works, she went to the doctors, took her kids. The doctor didn't even recognize her. He said, "Who are you? Are these kids with you?" And she said that broke her heart, man. The doctor didn't even know who she was. So think about that for a moment. Anything you'd like to add, Mario?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I think it's funny how when I go to the gym, we go and play basketball at 6 in the morning, and pretty much around 8 o'clock, it's funny how I see all the other guys like run to their gym bag and change shoes, and they run off because they have to go to work. And right. I just sit back and laugh because, like, man, I don't have a rush to go nowhere.
Right. Because you're on your time, man, and
right.
We're not any better than anyone listening. We just made a decision that our family and our freedom was more important than, feeling like we're stuck to a ball and chain. So, really consider that, and I would say, if you can't change the people around you, then change the people around you, because the people around you will pull you down and keep you stuck if they don't have a positive outlook on life as well, because we're all positive over here. We try to keep things that way. The average person thinks, I think they say, somewhere around 30,000 thoughts a day. So if they're all negative, you got a lot to fight off. You got a lot to get up off of you to even make a positive change in your life. And, I'll just leave you guys with that. Corey, anything you want to say to wrap it up?
And wrapping it up, fellas, I just want to let you guys know, if you tuned into this call, we appreciate it. We do these calls for you guys. We do these calls because we're able to provide something of value, So I appreciate that. If you take anything from this call, it's like you get to take all of us with you. And that means, I know it means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to you, Rob. I know it means a lot to you, Mario. But you get to take us with you. If you are trying to find what your way is, what your niche is in this business, if you're not sure about it, if you're, you've been thinking about joining, you've been looking at it, all I can tell you to do is just go and try it. Okay? Thinking, the hardest person to defeat is yourself when you look in the mirror. Like, that's your biggest opponent in life, okay? So the way that you can be successful is just to try to start it. You know darn well if you don't start, you cannot be successful. But if you do start, you give yourself a fighting chance. And that's all I wanted. That's all Rob wanted. That's all Mario wanted. When I joined this business, you heard us in our stories and testimonies tonight. When we all joined this business, we didn't envision that we would get to this point. We didn't know what this company had to offer for us, but, as we took our first step, we saw a path kind of light up a little bit further, and we stepped another step, and we saw the path continue to get lit further and further and further. And along those steps we were taking, we checked off accomplishments. We checked off, goals that we had reached or that we were reaching. And then, now from the perspectives, from the vantage points that we are now, we're able to look back and say, look, there's 1 million people that are stuck behind the starting line. There's 1 million people that are questioning, can they be where we are? Can they be further than where we are? But they're too afraid to just get on the starting block and just wait for the gun to go off to start themselves on that journey. So what I would tell you to do is just start it. You never know where it can lead you. You never know where it can take you. But you do know what will happen if you don't. So that's what I want to leave in closing, guys. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. We love doing these. We love having the opportunity to talk to you fellas. We love to encourage and be positive and bring some of that positivity and show you that, yes, there is a place for you to do this. There are guys that are doing this at a high level. There are guys that are providing for their families. So, we all have the same thing. We all want to provide. We all want to be good men to our lives. So you guys can do the same thing. We're all striving for the same thing. So we are saying we are alike. We would love for you to be from the same vantage point looking back and helping others like we are right now. So that's all I have for you guys. Enjoy your night. Rob, thank you for the platform. Mario, thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us. And that's all I got, man.
All right. Good night, everyone.